The AI boom isn't about innovation anymore. It's about who controls the infrastructure of power, war, and data. As Sylvia Jablonski points out, the real money isn't in flashy AI headlines but in the companies quietly building the backbone of surveillance, drones, and energy-hungry systems driving the next global arms race.
Are playing out because these companies are starting to generate revenues. They're starting to go from being science projects to actually being commercial. And that's really what the retail investor needed to see. And I think why you're seeing some momentum in these spaces.
Isn't it interesting that a science project, I mean, some days we can be very enthusiastic about the project of AI and large language models more broadly. We think that they're going to be driving absolute productivity gains. And then there's other days where we have anxiety about just supply restraints, whether they're able to build out compute, whether they're able to afford compute. How much are you seeing on a day-to-day the shift in sentiment?
Well, I think what's great is actually, if you look at some of these themes, AI and even quantum, right? Like just look over the last 2 or 3 years. It's good news comes out, earnings are positive, the stocks rally 30, 40%. You know, someone says, oh, we're 10 years away from this coming to fruition and the stocks fall 20, 30%. So what I would say is that opens up opportunities for investors. When you have this uncertainty and it's a nascent field, you know, you can actually buy dips here and hold these stocks for longer periods of time, hold these AI powered infrastructure ETFs and things like this. But, you know, what I will say is that it also just shows you how much demand there is and what the runway is for these companies. You know, now we're talking about photonics that are needed to power data forward. We're
the
talking
Corning
about
deal, for example.
The Corning deal, Lumentum, Coherent. You know, we're talking about different forms of energy, whether it's nuclear energy, and all of this is needed to drive this forward, and we're in the early stages. So I think the picks and shovels are going to have a long runway ahead of them.
Where there has been a lot of anxiety has been software. And look, Datadog actually calls itself an AI-powered software provider. They're giving tools for AI coding. They're also all about the networking infrastructure. But how are companies getting sort of wheat and chaffed by investors right now as to whether they can harness AI growth or whether they're going to be left behind?
Well, I think when the market had that ChatGPT moment so long ago at this point, it was the Microsoft investment news. All of a sudden, every single company in the S&P 500 tied itself to the word AI. And when it tied itself to the word AI, that company tended to do well and the stock price went up. And then the market has figured out, like, okay, not everybody is AI. And so I think Datadog has done something differently. You know, how that bodes for the rest of software, I think that if you see these major software companies integrating AI into their infrastructure, they will be potentially fine. And also you have larger companies like IBM, for example. You know, they might suffer on their software side, but they win on their quantum side, right? So the diversified exposure to technology and these, you know, again, disruptive trends in AI will help move them forward.
This is all in the context of disruption from a macro perspective, from a geopolitical perspective.
Yes.
How does a long-term investor who loves the idea of AI and quantum deal with the here and now of the Strait of Hormuz, which does affect helium, which does affect chips?
Right, and it's really interesting that the market has rallied the way it has when we still have this geopolitical uncertainty. Is the war over? Is it not? Where do we stand? You know, I think that the market could turn at any time, and that's something that investors should be aware of. However, when you think about the way that you invest, when we're specifically talking about disruptive themes, you want to be a longer buy and hold investor, right? You want to kind of weather the COVIDs, you want to weather the Russia-Ukraine, you want to weather what's going on in the Middle East and keep that long-term outlook because you're not going to be able to predict geopolitics. That being said, investors should be aware that there could be volatility and the things that get hit could be the higher growth sectors.
Where are you seeing new appetite? Like, you're someone who thinks around opening new ETFs. You harness the appetite that there was in crypto, particularly in AI infrastructure, in space, in quantum. Where's the puck moving?
Well, the puck is moving to, a lot of these picks and shovels of AI. It really is. You're talking about memory, you're talking about photonics, you're talking about the AI infrastructure and build out, the picks and shovels. Last time we were on, we talked about modern warfare because of what's going on in Iran and around the world. There's been so much growth in, drones, manless drones, Palantir, the type of AI that is going to be funded by governments to grow out defense is just, a massive opportunity. So we really see investors starting to allocate and look into the cousins of AI outside of just straight chips.
And we've got a key IPO to be talking about in the world of satellites. And I know that you've got exposure to the world of satellite and defense tech. Sylvia Jablonski, It's great to have you on of Defiance ETFs. Coming up, we talked to that CEO. Hawkeye 360.